wonderful evening in the entire world. I am so excited.
It's going to be second.
Tomorrow night will be the best.
Right. And where's the bride and groom?
The bride and groom had to go back and pick up
What they forgot.
They forgot the groomsmen's gifts. But I do want to thank the Goldbergs because they are putting on the most beautiful, beautiful rehearsal dinner for our children.
And we want to thank Frida for her most beautiful daughter. We're going to have a nice evening.
Thrilled.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. We're really thrilled so that I can go back and so he had done stage shows. Then, as I'm going to rack, I spotted the dress. No, these are fabulous. These are some of them. I've never seen a dress like so gorgeous. She tried on. You want me to do more action? I know you need action. Come on, y'all, do action. She's telling us about her house in Silver Spring.
The decorating.
And the decorating. We're now decorating. We're doing weddings on set.
That is the greatest thing that ever happened to Becca.
I really am excited.
This is wonderful.
I don't know. I hate these things.
We're excited for them.
We're very excited. She's a beautiful bride. They're a lovely couple. Thank you.
You gotta
We'll miss them in
picture this
Washington.
dress. You gotta get a lot of this. Get a lot of the figure. This is a new figure too.
That's right.
My baby.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Proud of you at the granddaughter. Well, that's good. We're all disappointed we didn't get in.
Somebody special I want you to meet.
He was very nice about it. He said, "Becca, sit down and say
Good
to see you. How are you?" Coming by? What do you reckon?
Actually, somebody I recognize.
He's done something I've never done.
This is Rod. I think you've met before. And my lovely cousin. My wife Marilyn.
Right. Okay, who are the rest of them? Clears too, that's clears too. Yeah, sure, why not?
Wait, they'll come around with you. Corey?
Good, how are you? You too. I know. Everything's good. It's hard to get it online.
Corey?
It must be, because I had never seen that picture. I'd never seen that picture. That is hysterical.
on it. That's what I want to do. I'm going to take it out in fees or something. Who's just taking our picture? The gorgeous one or that? No, this one over here. The gorgeous one I know. But he's a former combat photographer. This is Carol's father. So it's going to be combat. Carol's father,
With a mouthful.
Harry Blumenthal.
Yes, the big Lincoln. It was a pleasure tonight because we left something at home. And there's a car phone in the car. I've never used one of those. Yeah, I'm so excited. So, I know, so credit card. I know, it's a lot of things.
Testing it, please take your seat. Good evening. My name is Jerry Goldberg. I would like to welcome you all to this beautiful facility and to thank you for helping us celebrate this very, very joyous occasion. Before toasting Becca and Eric, I'd like to just share a couple of observations with you. First of all, we are, as Eric's parents, extremely proud of the person that he's grown into. And we know that as a result of that, we have done something right. We've also known Becca for a while, and we know that her parents have done something beautiful in bringing her up. And they have done something right. And we've seen the two of them together, and we know that in picking each other, that they have done something right. And I would like to, at this point, make a toast and a wish for their utmost of happiness in health, in their relationship with their family, and especially in their relationship with each other. L'chaim. And now Eric and his grandfather, Harry Blumenthal, excuse me, will now bless the wine and the challah.
In order to get the evening's festivities on the right track, and which we already have, I think, and being the grandfather of the groom, I I'm very grateful to be honored to make a meitzah or a blessing over the bread. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hameitzel lechem min haaretz. Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, Berei hagafen. Hi.
Enjoy dinner.
Hi, you too.
Lovely view. This is for 2%. You know, a lovely party.
What if I give you an extra half?
It started as August.
Sure I do. I love to talk. Everybody wants to hear what's going on at this table. While you're burning that, so
Don't you remember that? Almost the end of the evening, and all of a sudden just music started blaring.
Turn around, how many wants to get some on the video?
I'm sorry we were late tonight, but we are practicing in the restroom for your rehearsal dinner.
Don't worry, I have nothing wrong to say. I can't tell her. I have nothing wrong to say. But before you put just coming out the lyrics, you need somebody to say.
Hi. Glad to be here.
Alright, you gotta stop eating bread, right?
I'm sorry, you always catch me when I'm eating. I should get a drink, then you can catch me while I'm drinking. A drink?
We're here for the amazing when the video comes. Cheers!
Cheers. Congratulations.
Becca, congratulations on it.
Lots of babies.
Oh.
And good living.
Lots of help, Becca. Lots of live-in help. It's the only way to do it. And nurse. Two.
How you doing?
She was 5.
5 live-ins or 5 babies?
5 live-ins. Hi, Becca. Hi, Eric. I feel like you. I'm hoarse already. She's gonna be great. Missy's next.
I cover both the Dakotas, Minnesota.
This here is open. What is your big thing? How nice it was to meet Becca. It's a big party, you know, the mom's brought us to show.
We're very excited for you. This is an incredible occasion. And now I'm going to turn it over to my wife.
Hi, Beck. We love you. We're so glad to be here.
And my friend Joel has something to say.
Joel.
Tell him about thrilled to be. No, Joel, can I have the camera back, please? In case you're in town, when's that event? In case you're in town in August, Joel's selling tickets.
Congratulations, Becca. What a happy face.
Happy I'm not myself. We're so glad to be here for this happy event. It's a beautiful dinner.
Don't I have a marvelous spokesman, but we are glad to be here. I'm glad to be anywhere. Right on.
Wonderful.
Right
The
on.
Goldbergs did a wonderful job to help the freedom.
You drive in, you don't have to wait a half hour. You're overdoing it. You drive in, you have a parking spot right here.
We're bored to tears.
Nice, but not too chummy. Hi.
Hello, congratulations to the happy couple.
We're very happy to be here, and thank you.
Why are we here? Why are we here?
Hello to the Goldbergs.
What is this, the 10 most wanted table?
It never cracks. He says, hi. Like Nicky really 6 months after.
One picture of you guys are cool.
That's what grandparents are for. Take pictures of the kids when they visit.
Beautiful evening.
Beautiful evening. Beautiful evening.
Say hi to the bride and groom.
Hi, Becca and Eric. Becca and Eric, best of everything. Go ahead and get married. It's okay.
We're so happy to be here.
Sonny, don't lean back.
Very properly tonight because they'll be on television, right? They'll be very nicely.
Make sure you use your knife and fork. He's taking their pictures.
It's everything.
The party is great. My children are gorgeous. Laheim.
Aren't you glad he got dressed up?
For the first
Sure.
time.
You should, to the first
To the
baby.
first
No,
baby.
talk to Hope about that. The third.
Cheers. Eric, Becca.
No. Last one time. Cheers.
Down the hatch.
Very romantic.
This way.
Have to be nice. And Becca, I wish you nothing but the best in the future. May your future be extremely bright as hopes and Bibsy's and mine. Because after all, you are the baby of the family. And God knows we tried to set an example for you. Good, bad, or indifferent. Only us will be able to decide later. The best of wishes to you and Eric.
How do you like the view out there?
It's a great view. It's a beautiful room. It should be a great evening. Looking forward to it.
You ready for the big evening? We sure are.
Enjoying ourselves nicely. For my parents, Phil and Harry Blumenthal.
Hi, Bob.
You're conspiring for the evening. You're conspiring for what to do.
Yes, we are. This is a master ceremony. This is a big man. That's okay.
What do you
Bruce, you're on.
How you doing? Hi, this is the Bird Bombs. Hey, we're happy to be here.
Becca and Eric, we're so excited.
You should have seen
Thank
Eric
you so
last
much for
night.
including us.
Eric performed well last night at the bachelor party. His favorite was Pat, and Eric should be sanitized after last night. Thank you.
Where'd you go? The Hamptons or Becca? Where in the Hamptons you go?
Thank you for allowing me to.
Becca and Eric, hi. We really tried to nail you tonight, but it's not going to be as good as we wanted. We wanted
Hi,
to
Becca and Eric. I know I'm supposed to be at that table, but I've moved.
Anyway, we're going to start the evening off. We have a long line of people that would like to speak tonight, which is wonderful. We'd like to start the evening off with the groom's mother, Carol Goldberg.
Hi, I too would like to welcome you and thank you for coming. Family and friends who've come so far, we thank you so much. It means so much to us. To the Dallas group, I have never met a friendlier, more hospitable group of people. We thank you so much for all you've done for us and what you're doing for us this weekend. Who's laughing at what? Soon after Eric and Becca announced their engagement, I was sent tapes of Hope and Lenny's rehearsal dinner and wedding so that I should learn how things are done in Dallas. Some things aren't so different. For those of you who were there, you'll remember when Erica Hoxter, who was at that time Hope's mother-in-law-to-be, got up to speak, and she was referring to Hope and Lenny finally getting married. She started her speech by saying, "We waited, and we waited, and we waited. And Frida and Roy waited, and waited, and waited. And Frida let me know she was waiting and waiting." Guess what? The same thing happened. We waited, and we waited, and Frida let us know she was waiting. Now, as then, the waiting is almost over, and tomorrow Becca will join our family, an event about which the whole family is ecstatic. Becca is a warm and wonderful girl, and we are so happy to have her join our group, our family. To Eric and Becca, we wish you a long, happy, healthy life together.
Okay, then right from the beginning, nothing serious because Becca doesn't want to have her mascara run. So just funny from now on. We'll take about a 20-minute break now while she goes in the bathroom. Okay, I thought we're gonna have a little slide show for you, and then while they're setting up, maybe it'll just give me my chance to introduce myself and my relationship with Eric. And it might take them an hour to set it up, so you sit back and relax, and I'll tell you the story. Eric and I met each other in 1980 as freshmen at Washington University under precarious situations of mutual girlfriends. And that story will come back to haunt us because that's how I ended up marrying Becca's best friend 9 years later. But in 1986, Eric and Becca set me up with my future wife and Becca's best friend. And that's why Eric was my best man about 6 months ago. And he set up here, or this was in San Antonio, during my rehearsal dinner, telling stories about me that embarrassed all the people that hadn't yet met me. And to Eric and to all the Texans who can relate to this, Eric remembered the Alamo because tonight's my night. And we'll have some stories that I'm sure will embarrass you somewhat. Okay. Do we have a slideshow? While they're still setting it up, let me call on.
Hello.
Can I stand on your chair? Well, I think I'm probably the oldest friend of Becca because I'm the only, well, besides Jennifer maybe, I'm the only one that's friends with her sisters or brothers that is here. But Becca, I've known you for so long. And I've known the Goldbergs longer than the Bernsteins have. Because I was in Washington, D.C. and I went to the Goldbergs' house and I came home, and if you don't think I got the third degree of, what do they like? What do they live? What do they do? What do they do? Well, I had the best stories to tell them. I spent Mother's Day in Washington, D.C. in this beautiful home on acres upon acres, and I had just been in the real estate business about a year. Boy, would I like to sell one of those. Anyway, it's gorgeous. Anyway, the first time that I met Eric, Becca said, please pick him up at the hotel. He's in town for a meeting, and he's nothing like you'll expect. So what am I expecting? I don't know. I go and sit in the lobby of a hotel, and I'm waiting for this guy to walk up and say, are you Julie? Well, I didn't expect to see somebody as tall as Eric, and I also didn't expect to meet someone as wonderful and sweet and nice and personable. We went around looking at the houses in Highland Park for about 3 hours, just Eric and me, and I mean, I had just met him, instant best friends. And that's how Becca is, and that's how her family is to me. They're like my family. And we used to play Barbies together, and we started out playing Barbies, Bibsy and Becca and I, and it would be so much fun. And Bibsy and Becca would get in a fight, and Frida would come in, start screaming and yelling, and it was over. I mean, the party was over. And it went on over and over and over again. It's true. Anyway, I don't know anything to tell you except for I wish y'all all the happiness in the whole world, and one of these days you'll be back here saying
Why doesn't everyone move in closer? Just everyone move your chairs in closer to see it. We finished eating.
What a face.
Go ahead, move your chairs. Move your chairs in so y'all can see. Okay, ready? Okay.
This is a story of our sister named Becca, who had a brother and two sisters of her own.
At Mary Boswell, she was taught to win. With Bibsy, Mom thought she had twins. Wherever she would go, Bibsy was always in tow. A blonde, so she claimed. A brunette she became. Bright eyes and bushy tail, to the climbings they always sailed.
Family vacations were always a treat. At Coconut, Becca did meet. A beauty queen, she thought, but motherhood, she thought. We are family. I've got my brothers and sisters with me.
She started the day with a tear, making her presence known was always quite clear. Reading, writing, arithmetic, cheerleading, and honors was her shtick. Braces, orange hair, Dana Thompson was always there.
Sisters, sisters, what would we be if we weren't sisters? Fighting! Fighting and screaming, knocking holes in the walls, with Mom and Dad refereeing in the hall.
Hey, baby doll. It was Cam who took you from the crayons to perfume. It was Cam you would marry, everyone assumed. The key to the wedding suite you did keep. Here are some letters we have found. If I were you, I would not let them get around.
Oh my God, every one of them. Oh my God.
Henry Monsky, AZA, kidnapped Becca, oy vey. Dressing Becca was a treat. As we all know, she's not very neat.
Snoring, but not boring. Dreaming, or was it? Her laugh is contagious. The cruise was outrageous.
Tulane was a school. Harding was a rule.
You gotta slow down.
Happiness is coming home to a family that sure has grown.
Where's that?
Becca and Eric, this is a poem that I wrote for y'all. And it's more for y'all to each other, for y'all to use in the future. Who can say what love is? Does it start in the mind or in the heart? When I hear discussions of what love is, everyone speaks a different part. Love is funny, or it's sad, or it's quiet, or it's mad. It's a good thing or it's bad, but beautiful. Beautiful to take a chance, and if you fall, you fall, and I'm thinking I wouldn't mind at all. Love is a tearful or it's gay. It's a problem or it's play. It's a heartache either way, but beautiful. And I'm thinking, if you were mine, I'd never let you go, and that would be, but beautiful, I know.
She is all grown up from Daddy's little girl. So to you, Eric,
We give you our pearl.
Standing up till the rain came down. Said you better marry me or get out of town. Well, what you gonna do in a little canoe with the rain coming all up? Rebecca crying all over. Oh yeah, yeah.
You seen her in that cheerleader outfit? That's what. Those are the questions in the back. That was wonderful. Next up is Karen, Anita, Betsy, Frida, and Lori. Greta. Apologies.
That's okay. That picture of us ignoring him.
This is a long setup.
I'm 1 years old. I have this dark hair that I want to be gold. They say too many cooks spoil the recipe, and that's how this orange hair came to be.
I've grown up a little now, and I'm 16. I just found out I made the cheerleading team. My boobs are always bouncing when I cheer. Hey, maybe that's why there are always boys near.
I'm legal now, I'm 18 years old. Should I leave Cam, he'll wait, I'm told. I really want to go to Tulane, but leaving Cam will drive me insane.
I'm through with school. To Washington, D.C. I'll go. With Pete Marwick, I'll be rolling in dough. I wonder what the future will bring. Is there someone out there from who I'll get a ring? Okay. Look at me now. I'm 33. Washington, D.C. had more than a job for me. Now it's the two of us, Mr. and Mrs. Eric G., but very soon, baby will make 3. Okay, will the real Becca please stand up? We'd like to make a toast to you. We're so happy to be a part of this special time. We wish you and Eric all the very best that life has to bring.
Eric's growing up, we need to call on his sister Lynn to help us out.
Well, I just want to welcome Becca to our family. I'm glad I'm finally going to have a sister. Always wanted one. I guess I'm hoping that Eric will treat Becca a little better than he's treated me in the past. Growing up was not so pleasant with Eric. He's become a little more mature now, hopefully. Again, welcome Becca. Thank you. Congratulations. Thank you. I love you.
Okay, a little more on the Goldberg side. I guess cousins Susan and Doug Brook, who are also celebrating their 5th anniversary, wedding anniversary tonight.
Well, my husband didn't want to join me up here, but anyway. I want to thank you all. I think the people that we've met here in this room and even just the Texans who we've dealt with have been so pleasant, so nice. Sorry. I've always thought of Eric as sort of a brother. We're the same age and we've grown up together, and I always wanted the best for him. And I think he's found somebody who would fit, who I think is the best he could find. And I'm sorry if she's going to have to wipe her eyes again, but I'm just so happy for him. And I hope I speak for most of the Goldbergs in welcoming her.
Okay. One other comment about from the Goldberg side. Last night was Eric's bachelor party, and Mr. Goldberg made a toast to his son. He started off to the happiest day of your life, and Eric stopped and said, "But Dad, I'm not getting married until Saturday." He said, "Like I said, to the happiest day of your life."
Thanks a lot.
I don't make these things up. Okay. Next up, Joyce Stein.
Totally on privacy, y'all bear with me. It's kind of written on the shuttle bus. Becca,
Beck, it's hard to believe that it's already been 4 years since we were in college together, where it seemed like all we did was study, eat, and drink. 4 years later, here we are again, eating and drinking some more. But at least now we don't have a test tomorrow. Actually, Beck, I'm really standing up here to remind you of a friendly wager we met just after our college years were over. Remember the one where you said, where we decided whoever got married first owed the other a flight back to New Orleans and a dinner? It's public knowledge now, so whenever you're ready, just let me know. I think it's a fair deal. I get to eat and drink some more, and you get that and a great husband. Seriously, Beck, even though the years keep flying by and the miles between us are far, I still feel as close to you today as I did during school, and I'll always treasure the memories we've had together and look forward to the ones we have to come. I think the biggest fear of every friend, the one who's getting married, is that things will change due to the groom. But I've been fortunate enough to spend time with both of them for a while, and know that that's not so in this case. Becca and I were kind of with each other during college. Everybody else was kind of our competition, and we were each other's support, kind of challenging each other along the way. Now she's left me with the biggest challenge of all, to find somebody as great as Eric to marry me. I wish y'all the best of luck and everything in the world. I love you both.
Joyce, you broke your promise and made Becca cry.
Don't look at it that way, Scott. You know she cries when you
Okay. Next up, we're really moving along here. Is Melanie, Elaine, Gail, Corey, and Allison.
Oh, the girls.
Watch out.
Maybe you're going to be fine now. Hi.
This is the Tulane group. It's a rock band.
You guys be sweet. What's coming to you? Don't scared. I'm not crying.
We're here to lighten things up a little.
Alright.
I'm not gonna cry, don't worry. Maybe later on tonight you'll cry.
Just get prepared for this.
Becca, we all like to think of ourselves as your closest friends from college. But when we were in New Orleans, deep down, we had to realize that we always came second to Howie. Howie being the Howard Tilton Memorial Library. The funny thing is, Becca, you lived the college life that all our parents sent us to Tulane for. When our mothers called, and we were all a quarter beer night, the cover was always, "Oh, I'm sorry, Mrs. So-and-so, but she's at the library." When Frida called, we had to cover for you, Becca, and say you were out with Howie. Because really, deep down, we all knew Frida's motto all too well. Go out, be seen out, get asked out. Meanwhile, Becca graduated top of her class, and we all just graduated. But although most of you believe that Becca's 4-year affair with Howie prepared her for most of life's challenges, life's real challenges, Howie by no means prepared her for the world outside of the county. So what we'd like to share with you tonight, Becca, are some of the lessons we learned while you were busy studying with Howie. First of all, Becca, one thing that's always concerned us is that although it's very nice to be friendly, you should always use discretion when strangers approach you. I have a particular story when Becca visited me recently in New York, and we were in Greenwich Village out for dinner. We had a good time. We were on a corner trying to hail a cab, and there was a car full of guys that pulled up on the corner next to us, loud, boisterous, really definitely not anybody we would have known, and they were yelling to us in Spanish. And although I've been known to know a few Spanish guys in my time, I certainly didn't know these guys. Becca, meanwhile, turns around, waves. She's like, "Gail, you're
strangers in subways and metros. She even befriended someone very special once on the highway.
Oh, God.
Sorry. Becca was driving down the streets of D.C. one day when a 450 SL pulled up beside her and was looking in her car. And she looked at him and just kept on going. She was on her lunch hour. She looked at her gas gauge. She needed a little gas. So she pulled in a gas station. And along follows her this 450 SL. And so this big guy gets out of the car, and he comes over to her, and he said, "Hi, I'm Calvin Muhammad. I'm with the Washington Redskins." And Becca thought, gee, Redskins, they've been sold out for 20 years. Maybe I should get to know these guys. I'll get free season tickets. So they start talking, and to make a long story short, she gives him her home phone number. God. But our other roommate and myself keep answering the phone. It's Calvin Muhammad. And we say, "Becca, go out with him. We want season tickets to the Redskins." So she says, "Okay, I'll go out with him under my own terms." She found a movie. It was the greatest comedy that was ever made. It was The Color Purple. And they went out. It was the first time and last time she ever saw Calvin Muhammad.
Becca's fondness of strangers dates back long before she moved to D.C. The story that I share with Becca that comes to mind originated in freshman English 8 years ago at Tulane. Do you remember this? I was teasing. We were sitting in class, not paying attention as usual, which you probably find hard to believe now that you know what a studier she is, trying to decide what our weekend plans would bring. Lo and behold, a classmate who we barely knew, asked us if we were interested in going to Florida with two friends of his that we didn't know from a hole in the wall for the weekend because they needed dates for their formal, for their fraternity. The last minute. As you can probably imagine by now, we didn't even hesitate. We're like, yeah, we're there. We're going to Florida. Fort Walton Beach. We didn't know where it was. We're going to Florida. So off we went, out of state, with two strangers. It didn't even occur to us till we almost got there that we would probably be expected to stay in hotel rooms with these guys. But that's a whole nother story. We were the only two girls in the entire place that stayed with each other. These guys were so mortified. Liars. Becca, thank God we know now that you'll be safe with Eric, and none of this nonsense will ever happen again. Becca, your next lesson comes from communication, because communication is such a very important skill in any marriage, any successful relationship. And we've had some trouble with you in the last couple of years. I remember once I called Becca from the library. She was in the library. I was not in the library. I certainly was not in the library. I called Becca and I said, "Beck, what are you doing? We're all going out for dinner. We're all going out." And she's like, "Hello." I said, "Beck, like, why don't you come up?" "I can't." "Beck, I can't hear you." She's like, "I'm studying." I was like, "Does that mean you can't exert your vocal cords?" I was like, can you come up?" "No, yeah, I can't." So for the next 4 years, that's all. The whisper into the phone. I heard the whisper, I hung up. Then when she met Eric, she started going out to the Goldberg's house. So I said, I would call her like on Monday and say, how was your weekend? She'd be like, "Yo, we went there, Miss Goldberg." She was in the we went out to the pool, we went out to the disco, we came in, we came in. For years, I had no idea that Goldberg was a two-syllable word. I was like, Goldberg. So then I finally met them. I was like, and I met Carol. I said, "It's you, Miss Goldberg." So just remember communication. Thank you.
Okay, my lesson for Becca is not to laugh at people who hurt themselves. Because I am really a klutz, and every time I'm down on the ground, Becca is so hysterical that she cannot even think of helping me up or doing anything to help me. One time at Mardi Gras, we were at a parade, and I was exhausted. I sat down on this police barrier that was blocking traffic, and it broke in half. Here I was laying on the ground with rusty nails in my rear end, and Becca was hysterical. Elaine was too. I was crying in pain, and Becca was so hysterical she did not even attempt to help me in any way. If somebody is embarrassed about something, forget it. Becca will make you 14 times more embarrassed than you originally were. I don't even want to tell this because I'm still embarrassed, but I know Becca will laugh. When I was, look at her. When I was walking along campus one day, this guy that I kind of knew, all of a sudden came up to me out of nowhere. He said, "Hey, Big Mama." And Becca has still 5.5 years later, she is laughing hysterically at Big Mama. So Eric, I'm sure that you have had the unpleasant experience of having Becca laugh at you when you are really, truly injured. But Becca, just try and calm down when people are hurt.
I'm sorry. Hey, Big Mama.
Okay, right. And finally, Becca, if anything could have prepared you for marriage, it was your first marriage to Melanie. Melanie is going to talk a little bit about what marriage to Becca is really like.
3 of them.
For those of you who feel this is Becca's first time at bat, you don't really know marriage is Becca's old hat. You see, Becca and I were married almost 8 years ago, and I will tell you right now, Eric, I simply won't let her go. So Eric, please listen while I give some clues, so when married to Becca, you'll know what to do. Let me first tell you how our marriage started. It was 85 Screech night, and since, we've never parted. We saw each other dressed all preppy, and we were both from Texas, and we really didn't care if we were both the same sexes. We studied together and took all the same classes, although Becca was never satisfied, like me, with just passes. I failed, I know that I failed, but a 4.0 always came in the mail. We have lived together for 6 of our years, so Eric, I'll tell you just what to fear. Sometimes Becca will clean for days because the dust has formed such a haze. She'll organize your life and won't let you fudge it. Listen, I know, she put me on a budget. When she goes through her whisper phase, just simply ignore, while during good moods, she'll talk you into a bore. No food in the refrigerator will she ever finish, even when all the containers have diminished. And forget it, those ice trays, they'll never be filled. Becca Bernstein was not born to do that kind of skill. And Eric, be sure when making Becca something to eat, that you never mix the salt and the sweet. For it is a sin to put the fruit with the cheese. So keep them separate, if you please. You know Becca hates to talk on the phone, so remember to say she's never at home. As far as shopping, it's for the birds, Becca would scream, so you'll have to bribe her like I did with a little ice cream. When she dresses, she's not really sure if it goes. Too bad Garanimals were only for kids' clothes. But as crazy and wacky as she can be, she'll always be a best friend to me. I know that. The end is real good. Eric, you can see it's perfectly clear. A marriage to Becca, you'll just have to share. I'm just not ready to let her go yet, so marry me too, and it's your best bet. Wait, we're not done, Beth.
You're not done,
This is the nice part.
Oh, good.
Finish up with something nice. In all seriousness, Becca, to roast you is to love you. And we are all so thrilled to be here tonight. You and Eric are the greatest, and we love you both. Now we're done.
That's me.
If you're married, or you can buy her clothing for her.
Just because he spills everything on everything.
Really. The laundry bill alone. Okay. Okay. Well, Becca, you had all these girls here tonight to tell you about your college accomplishments. Eric, unfortunately, doesn't have all the girls that he knew in college to be here tonight. We had to tell them not to come. I think I don't even want to explain that. So in the few moments I have until the next, I'll tell some of Eric's more notable accomplishments in college, since there's only a couple of us here from college. Notable accomplishments. Okay. Remember the Alamo. Okay. No, besides his stellar academics, and I should know he helped me pass accounting, which is obviously a strong point. He excelled at athletics. He was always in our fraternity sports teams. We had the best hands on campus for football. I've heard other things too for his hands, but no, one of Eric's most notable accomplishments in college was founding with me and about 20 other people a fraternity on campus, Sigma Phi Epsilon, which I think is one of Eric's proudest accomplishments. And right now we started with 20 and it's over 100 and it's one of the strongest in the nation. And we have here tonight his fraternal son. So Steve Wrong, you're up next.
Well, like Scott said, I met Eric when I was a freshman and he was a senior, and I was going through a sort of difficult time in my life. I really wanted to accomplish something in college and was kind of shy in high school, and I decided, well, the first thing I'll try to do is look into fraternities. And I went to the first fraternity rush party and was kind of shy, I wasn't talking to many people, and Eric noticed something in me. And I think he's got a real knack for doing that. I know a lot of you have talked about similar experiences. And kind of pushed me along and got me more and more involved. And Eric really helped set the tone for the rest of my 4 years at WashU. And it's something that's always meant a lot to me. Before I knew it, 4 years had gone by. I had accomplished a lot in those 4 years, and I always kept in touch with Eric. And it's something that's real special to me, and I'm sure I'll be asking him for advice years down the road. Eric's the type of person that you always feel comfortable around. People just gravitate towards him. It's something I admired and tried to accomplish in my life as well. And I feel like I've got a real lasting friendship. Already, after I graduated, I've only been out of school for 2 years, and you start to lose touch. But even after a year, maybe, of not speaking to Eric, I call him on the phone and we talk, and it's like we were just together the day before. And I don't think you find that too many times in your life, and it's meant a lot to me. And Eric, I think you really found someone special. I think you both have. Congratulations. Thank you.
We do have messages, Eric, from a list of friends, Donna, Janet, Sheila, Julie, Lisa, Angela, Diana, Shelley. Another list I seem to have lost. And actually, I would like to just make an analogy for a moment. I think it's interesting that Hugh Hefner's wedding is Saturday as well. So, about that on the news. All right. Next up is LaRue and Louis Glazer. I'm sorry, it's their anniversary tonight as well.
Jenico said that she was the oldest friend. Julie, I gotta outdo you. I'm the oldest friend. Dear Becca, I remember when you were just a twinkle in your parents' eye, and when I used to sing you a lullaby. I remember you playing on your daddy's knee and watching him glow when you were only 3. I remember how your grandparents and Aunt Edie would marvel and quell at whatever you did so well. You went through all the stages, good and bad, and often drove Hope, Bidsy, and Ron nearly mad. But now you're about to become a blushing bride, and you're sure to fill our hearts with so much pride. Eric's a very lucky fella, 'cause he's getting a real Cinderella. He's handsome, he's smart, and you're his best fan. Of course you knew Eric was your only man. You've loved one another for a very long while, And tomorrow when you waltz down the aisle, your whole family will be wearing a huge, huge smile. Life for you will be full. Love, tears, sharing. It won't be long before it's babies you'll be carrying.
Not during Market LaRue, not during Market.
Oh, okay, right. There are no guarantees in life, but I'll know you'll be in your perfect husband and wife. I have many wishes for the two of you. Health, happiness, love forever. These are just a few. And always a rainbow and sunshine to smile down on you.
First thing, I wrote that, LaRue just read it. I want to thank the Goldbergs for having us tonight. I'm very glad I don't have to pay for this function. Also, I'm in the retail liquor business, see the liquor stores. Seriously, before the wedding tomorrow, use my name, get a 10% discount. Labor Day's coming up, stock up. I didn't know I was going to be called on. I know LaRue wrote one of her poems. I don't mean to take anything away from you all, but tonight is our 36th anniversary. And I want to thank you for giving us this party. I want to say this so I can go home tonight. I only hope the two of you are as happy after 36 years as LaRue and myself are. We really are happy. I'll only take a few minutes. I have the good fortune to know Frida from the time she was about 10 years old. I'm not going to tell the stories I always tell.
Please, Lois.
And also, I had the very good fortune to know Dib's father before Frida met him. We were in the Army together. All this time, I thought you were getting married. You don't understand, we brought guys in from all over the country for this girl. Anyway, it's the same girl, you know what I'm talking about. I met Roy in the Army in 1954. We were in San Antonio together. And it's ironic our paths keep crossing. And we got out of the service, we were married, and we didn't see Roy. And about 5 or 6 years later, I met an A&P in Dallas, and I hear this woman screaming and yelling over the grapefruit. It's Frida. She's holding Hope, prettiest baby I've ever seen, next to my 2 sons. And it was really nice, and I saw Roy again, and we've been friends ever since. And I wish Roy was with us. He's not. But he would be very proud of his family. He would be so happy for you. He would approve of Eric, because I understand you have a lot of money. People have always said that Roy and myself look something alike. We really don't, because I'm cute as a bug. A lot thinner. But Frida and Roy were a beautiful couple. They have beautiful children. We're glad that we're a part of it. We wish you all the happiness in the world, and we want you to know we'll always be there. Thank you for having us.
Okay, next, I'm not going to follow that with anything. Bob and Kathy Goldberg.
I'm meeting the bride.
Bob is Becca.
Yeah, they put us on this list because they knew I didn't have any stories to tell. For some strange reason, she says, "You're going to do all the talking." I'm not going to do a lot of talking, but I did want to come up and give a toast. We're celebrating also our 5th wedding anniversary. It was actually a couple of weeks ago, but this night brought it to mind because it was 5 years ago. We were starting on our honeymoon, and we went to Doug and Susan's wedding, and here we are 5 years later with Eric and Becca. And I love these occasions. It brings our family together. We're a big family. We're spread far apart. Now we're a bigger family, about to be. I'm loving all the people that I'm meeting and really, really enjoying this. This is a great party you guys are throwing. And thank you for that. Something that I do want to say, and all of us probably know that already, but it came as a surprise to me. I knew that when we were getting married because we were in love. And what I didn't appreciate at the time that I know now is that as much as we loved each other then, enough to make that commitment and get married, it's better now, and it just keeps getting better. So I want to make a toast. I hope you'll join me to that great power that brought us together here, brings you together, that threads its way through our lives, continues to transform us to love.
Okay, next up, Scott O'Donnell.
Before I begin, I first of all would like to thank Mr. and Mrs. Goldberg for the wonderful party they've thrown tonight. At the same time, I would like to thank Mrs. Bernstein for everything she's done tonight. You know, the Texans we've met, very, very wonderful people. I really don't have much to say. I met Becca and Eric about 2.5 years ago. I worked for them both at the same time, and it was hell. I also, I guess, was probably one of the first people to know that they were dating other than their parents. But in all seriousness, tonight is a very wonderful occasion. Tomorrow is even more wonderful. We're celebrating a very special event, hopefully one that they'll only go through once. There's a lot of love in this room tonight, and I'm sure when I say for myself, I speak for everyone here, that all the love here is for both Becca and Eric, and we all wish you the best.
For those of you who just didn't get the full grasp of Scott's message, Scott worked at Pete Marwick with Becca and Eric, if you didn't know that. And it's true that they attempted to hide their relationship for quite some time, and I'm a personal witness to that. The four of us, Melanie, myself, and Becca and Eric, went dancing one night, myself with Melanie and Eric with Becca, and we're out on the dance floor, and everyone's having a wonderful time, and suddenly Becca goes, "Scott, come here," and takes me and like throws Melanie to Becca. To Eric, and there's a spy for Pete Marwick. He's up there. Pretend you're with me. It was a tough job. She stepped on my toes and danced. And I don't know when they finally broke the news, but apparently the people there must know now. I would hope. Okay. If not, it'll be in the newspaper soon.
Next Sunday.
Yeah, that's right. I do have a message about that. I heard that they submitted their romance story to the Dallas papers when they got their pictures for the announcement of their wedding. And it's interesting that they got Romance of the Week, not for this week, for Sunday, but for next week. And I think it's something to do with the honeymoon, but not the wedding. Right? Romance of the Week will be in next week's paper. Yeah. They won the competition. Okay, next will be Pauline Rouvier. Rouvier. Terrible tonight.
Somebody once said, marriages are made in heaven. And I sometimes wonder about that. You know, there's so much that we all have to go through. There's the ups and the downs. There's the working very hard. There's a lot of laughing. There's a lot of sharing. But although I've been very, very anxiously awaiting this wedding, and of course even more so after I met the Goldbergs, because they're delightful, I've been so excited about this wedding. And I was thinking as I was driving down here this evening that although I've known Becca all of her life, and Frida and I have known each other about all of our lives, and Hilda, Snyder, we've all been such dear friends, that I don't know why I've been so excited about this wedding. And then I got here and I knew. Because when I walked in, Becca came running up to me and she says, "Aunt Pauline!" Hi, Aunt Pauline. And then this tall, charming, good-looking young man walks up and he says, "Aunt Pauline." And I said, "That's it. I know it's made in heaven." So I want to sort of represent the friends that your parents share, along with the friends that you've shared. Because I think that all of us friends from Dallas also feel that way about you, Becca, and about you, Eric. And I want to read to you a little poem that I read somewhere. It said, "May your spirit soar above the crowd as you travel through years called life. Take time to savor the bitter with the sweet, for together you can conquer all." I think we are all so happy that you're going to be part of this Texas big extended family, and that we're going to be part of a wonderful family to join the Goldbergs. Thank you all. It's been great fun. We love you.
It is not my anniversary tonight. I've known both Becca and Eric equally for a long time. 3 years, I call that a long time. I guess I haven't been around that long. But I've really grown to really like both of them equally a lot. Eric, when I was a eager, young, innocent accountant, Eric corrupted me quickly when we worked on a job. I'd cover for him a couple of times. Eric will be in at like 9:30. He's gonna stop by our office for a minute, and he'll be in soon. But don't worry. He must have gone to another client. He'll be here by 11 o'clock. He'll be in. I'm sure he'll be in sometime today. And Beck and I worked together for a long time on a couple of jobs. Gotten to know both their families very well. I almost feel like I'm part of the Goldberg family at times. Really felt at home with the Goldbergs and their grandparents and Lynn. And when I met Mrs. Goldberg, I felt like I knew the whole city of Dallas.
Mrs. Bernstein.
Jewish names, I get confused. But from knowing both Becca and Eric, I really feel like, from seeing both sides, I really feel like it's such a great match. And I'm really looking forward to spending as much time as I have in the past together now that they're going to be married. And I'm really looking forward to it, and I think that tomorrow will be a great day, as tonight is. Thank you.
Next up, Ed and Sally Jennikov.
Frida and I have shared something that a lot of people don't share. Both of us are only children, married to only children. So not having any nieces or nephews, I had to adopt the Bernstein kids. We followed along. I didn't have one Hope's age, but Ronnie, Bibsy, and Becca, we followed along. And the day that I found out that I was pregnant with David, Roy told us at lunch that Frida was going to have another baby. The kids have been friends for a long time, and they've all been very special to us. And I wish you all the very best, Becca. But you're getting something that I gave up when I married Ed. You are now a Goldberg.
Well, we want to wish you both lots of nachas, lots of happiness. And we only wish that your dad was here to be with us because we really do miss him. And I think more than anything else, I miss the noise. Okay, because, you know, if anybody remembers Roy, you know, it was lots and lots of noise. But he was a wonderful guy and we miss him. But we wish you all the happiness that your mom and dad have had all these years.
Okay. Next up, Bruce Birnbaum. Okay. Back in the bathroom now. He was a little ill before.
I didn't have a catheter. This is pretty impromptu, so all my notes are on my seating card. What? It's not toilet paper. First, I'd like to thank the Goldbergs, like everybody else has, for inviting all the Dallas people. It's special that they did that. Trying to figure out how to phase this. First, Scott asked me when I showed up, would you like to say something? I said, no, I don't want to say anything. And I said, well, maybe I'll give a toast. And then I thought about it a little bit longer. I said, I can't give just a toast. I have to give a roast. And you should have seen the way I abused Hope at her wedding. Because that was abuse. And that was pretty much of a roast. But that's because of a long time of knowing the family. And I apologize to Bibsy for not having a copy of Bride's magazine to pass on to her this time. But this is all a story about love, and I just wanted to also say that Cindy and I, Cindy, will you stand up for a second? Cindy, this is my wife.
It's not my anniversary.
Okay, we're celebrating an anniversary pretty soon too. It's going to be our 36th anniversary. In 32 years, 2 months, and 1 day. However, tonight we almost didn't make it that far because, and these are the crazy things of marriage and love, the things that you do for your spouse. At 6:45, literally tonight, I was out through North Dallas chasing the UPS truck looking for Cindy's dress. Call up UPS. They left the car. What quadrant is it in? They gave me the parameters. I'm driving up and down the street. I find the truck. I think, 58731, that's it. And I go to the lady. I go, you've got my wife's dress? And she goes, I don't deliver in that area. Anyway, the dress was back at UPS. And she looks beautiful, doesn't she? I have one short story to say about Becca. and Becca was at our wedding in Monroe,
Yes.
which was a fantastic weekend. And of all the things that weddings and relationships are about, as lucky as I have a nice family, you know, all these things work together. It was nice to have all these people there. But the morning after was really a unique situation. And it's all a matter of timing how people meet. And now you can probably laugh about it. But if it wasn't for Cindy and I, you probably would have never met Eric because of the way timing works out. And she kind of had a small tantrum. Here she is, eager to move to Washington, and this car is just full of stuff. The parents are fighting, and everybody else is going, that's the typical Bernstein. But if y'all weren't late, y'all wouldn't have met. So, we're glad you were in Monroe. And then when you were in Monroe, you were at the rehearsal dinner that we had at the country club there, where plaid is plentiful. And it's a little bit more, you know, 300 miles makes such a difference in just moving further west. But back over there, everybody there bequested us with so many babies. And tonight there's only been one comment about babies. Every time someone got up, and I hope they have plenty of babies. I hope they just have plenty of babies. We just love babies in our family. So my comment on having babies is, when y'all are ready, you'll know when it will be time.
Remember that one.
And I just want to raise a toast to whosever glass this is. As much happiness and Cindy as I have to the future.
Thank you.
Like 5% of the price. You know, I feel like I have an obligation to keep telling stories about Eric, but again, we'll be here until 3 in the morning. I will tell one quick one, then my wife and I have planned an act for you, and maybe you should leave now, actually. Quick story. We, you know, Eric and Becca have this affinity to water. You know, Eric attempted to propose to Becca while canoeing. Unfortunately, there was like a massive hurricane that day, and they ended up just doing it on a bridge over water. They came to visit us after Melanie and I got engaged to Atlanta, and there's a river, and people get on a raft and float down the river, and it's called shooting the hooch, or shooting the Chattahoochee River. The raft that we were on, the four of us were on, as we got halfway down the river, deflated almost entirely, and Melanie and Becca are singing 85 songs while Eric and I are going like this. Okay, this is true love for you. Okay, Becca had just bought Eric these beautiful prescription sunglasses, and we were, you know, going down the river like this, and we hit a rock, and Eric went completely out of the raft, and Becca yells, "Eric, watch out for your glasses!" It's true love. Okay, Melanie, it's our time to embarrass ourselves considerably. This is going to be a song, and you'll know why they put a noise ordinance in our community after we've been practicing this week.
I can't carry a tune, so you just have to bear with me. But I love to sing. I've sung the year of 85 for 40 years. Thank you. Okay. I start? Okay. Hello, Scott. This is Mel. I want to tell you something swell. Although Pete Marwick's rules say no-go, I think Becca's found herself a new beau. And did I tell you the reason why? When we went dancing, we had to lie. And Eric and Becca made a quick change because a spy from Pete Marwick was in close range.
Hello, Mel. This is Scott. Eric says he loves Becca a lot. He wants to live with her and build a home. But who can afford a ring with such a big mortgage loan? And for months they lived in sin and redid their house within. Thank God for good connections like Wheaton Rental and Vogel Decorations.
Hello, Scott. This is Mel. I think Eric's hearing wedding bells. Oh no, I must be mistaken. It's just a gun to Eric said, free to shake it.
Hello, Mel. Well, this is Scott. I hear Eric, Becca's caught. On the Potomac, he took her wooing, and he asked her to marry him while canoeing.
And we hope after our singing
That your ears will soon stop ringing.
but the reason why we're here.
Is because Becca and Eric are so dear.
And right now we raise our glasses.
And hope our friendship never passes. And from Scott,
And Melly Sue,
we want you to know that
we love you. We practiced that last line so much.
now you've lost all respect for me. I'll try to introduce the remaining people. We'd like to get to the immediate family now, and I'd like to call on Eric's grandfather, Harry Blumenthal.
I just happened to think of a little ditty song I'd like to sing to the bride and groom. Oh, I get that lonesome feeling when I hear those church bells chime. Those wedding bells are breaking up that old gang of mine. There goes Eric, there goes Becca, down through Lover's Lane. Now and then we meet again, but it don't mean the same. Oh, I get that lonesome feeling when I hear those church bells chime. Those wedding bells are breaking up that old gang of mine. As a grandfather, I'm very proud and happy to be here this evening. And I wish you both lots of luck, a long, happy married life together. And may all your troubles be little ones.
Next would be Becca's grandparents, Hilda and Sneer Vogel.
You know, how the time passes, how well I remember almost 26 years ago, and I was at my favorite pastime, playing bridge, and all of a sudden the telephone rings. Mother, come home quick. There's a terrible crisis. Who knows what the crisis was? I let 3 women in a lurch. I played leapfrog getting home. What is the big crisis? I think it's a tumor. Some tumor. 10 weeks gestation. That's no tumor. I said, if you don't know what caused it, I'll have to draw you a diagram. To make a long story short, the caboose arrived. The last. We didn't get a baby, we got a crybaby. She cried if you touched her. Why? We couldn't even touch her. Not even a love pat. But the worst thing was, she was supposed to have arrived on my birthday. Well, you know, Becca's always a little bit disorganized. 3 days late. That's all right. We forgave her. She's made up for it many, many ways. But really, you should only take her on a cruise. Now that is really an experience to write home about. Becca comes to her grandfather and me one day and she says, Mimi, you've taken Hope to Europe. You've taken her to the Orient.
Now, how about Becca and me? How about Bibsy and me? All right, we'll take a cruise. We'll take a Christmas, New Year's cruise. Well, you've never seen a wilder hyena in your life. Becca gets on the ship, and I'll tell you something, the captain had a hard time navigating. How well, we did have a good time, though, didn't we, Becca? We had a wonderful time. Remember the whale that we saw in the water? Yeah. Becca says, Mimi, come quick, there's that thing out there. I'm supposed to know everything, but that's all right. If you don't know it, you fake it. I've always told Becca, just don't let your left hand know, honey, what your right hand's doing. That's the best course. But anyway, we arrived in Acapulco. Now, this is a real swinging town, and the Princess Hotel is a magnificent hotel. Becca, Bibsy, and a few other young children that were on the cruise at that time, they're going to go to a disco. Fine. The ship is sailing at midnight. They're going to a disco. Well, we sailed at 12 o'clock. At 11:15, they're not there. 11:30, her grandfather's getting pretty nervous, and I am too. I can't leave her in Acapulco. Well, 11:35 comes, and we're getting more nervous. By this time, her grandfather's already put his pants on over his pajamas, and we're standing on the gangplank. And he's telling the captain and the steward, don't you pull this ship out till those kids get on board this ship. Well, at 5 minutes to 12, they arrive. For 2 cents, I would have thrown them both overboard. I would have left them in Acapulco. But these are the hazards of being a grandparent, the pleasure of being a grandparent. I couldn't be, let me say, we couldn't be more happy with this wonderful, wonderful marriage that is to be. From the moment I saw Eric, I wasn't so sure that I liked him, to tell you the honest to God. You know, I'm still from the old school. My daughter's told me a dozen times, Mother, please put the white gloves up. Please put the banquet cloth up. Please put the silver bell up. But in comes Eric. I'd heard such glowing, glowing things about Eric. Here he comes in, unshaven, tennis shoes on. He really looked fadrunchic. But that's all right. I'd heard some wonderful, wonderful things. And I thought, well, I will overlook. And sure enough, when he shaved, and when he put on that lovely blue suit, I thought, you know what, if you let that boy get away from you, I'll chop your head off. There's an old saying, the water seeks its level. And believe me, this water has found its level. We are simply delighted. The shoe fits. I've met for the first time the grandparents, and they are really charming, charming, lovely people. From the moment that I met Jerry and Carol, I felt that I had known them all my life and was so delighted to welcome them into the vocal play. To you, Eric and Becca, your grandfather and I have had 59 glorious, glorious years together. God willing, I told him I'll just break his neck if we don't reach 75. But anyway, man plans and God laughs. But each year becomes more precious as you live together. The love becomes deeper. The love is more binding. The ship of matrimony is a very delicate ship. There are times when the water is so rough and so turbulent. And then there's times when the water is going to be beautiful come and bloom. But that's what makes life. And believe me, with love, respect, and a deep, abiding understanding of each other, you can always find that wonderful, wonderful, safe port to sail into. God bless you. L'chaim, shalom, much nachas, and welcome into our family.
Well, I think my wife is just about covered it all. However, the best, I wish you long life, happiness, and the best in the world for both of you.
When Becca cries, you just have to forgive her. You know, this is a trait that's handed down. A good friend of mine told me one time when Snyder and I were leaving for the Orient, she says, "Why in the name of God are you crying?" I said, "This is a crying family. We cry when we leave, we cry when we come back. And we cry when we're sad, and we cry when we're glad." But I don't know, they're always tears of joy, and I think that washes away everything.
Hilda, I want to tell you something. This marriage was really made in heaven.
I think so.
To marry into a family that are better criers than we are. That I will cry at the wedding. It doesn't have to be necessarily a grandson and a granddaughter getting married. I can go to strangers. Everything that I cried was the music. When Becca and Eric became engaged, I listened to classical music on the radio. And they played Mendelssohn's Wedding March. That's what we used to play years ago when the bridal couple went finished and they were all set. There I stand in my kitchen with a tear flowing down my face. So tomorrow, if you're sick and cry, we're at the right place. This marriage was made in heaven.
I said it was made in heaven.
I agree with you.
It's like dueling grandparents here. Wonderful. Second to last, the moment you've all been waiting for, Frida Bernstein.
Yeah.
I'm so thrilled, and I want to welcome each and every one of our out-of-town guests and family who have traveled such far distances to be with us for this wonderful weekend. Your being here means so much to us. I also want to welcome the Goldberg family into the Bernstein family. As Erica Hochster said, "You stole my lines, Carol." Erica, you'll go down in history for this. At Hope and Lenny's prenuptial dinner, we've been waiting and waiting and waiting for this to happen. And here we are. Tomorrow is the big day. Memories are a wonderful thing to have in life. And tonight, there are so many memories that are flowing through my brainwaves. Becca, Becca, as you have always known, you were an accident. I swear, if abortions would have been prevalent, I'd have been the first one in line. But the most wonderful accident that could have happened. What I am going to say tonight was discussed and talked about the night your father went into the hospital. He was so very sick, and I thought to keep his mind off his illness, let's talk about our favorite topic, Becca and Eric's wedding. And what are we going to say? I know your father is here with us tonight in so many ways, as he loved a good party and more than anything, his children. And tonight was so special for him. Do you remember, Eric, last summer when we came to Washington to celebrate your third 4th of July tennis tournament? Becca was busy working, and we had driven from New Jersey into Washington, picked up Eric for dinner, and went to this funky Italian upstairs open-air restaurant. Roy proceeded to tell Eric how much he wanted to give a wedding, and soon. I couldn't believe what I was hearing, as he was so adamant about it's time for you all to get married. Well, Roy, your wish will come reality, and you and I are giving our baby a wedding, the one you wanted so to be at. Becca, you have always been the most volatile, loving, caring, achiever. All adjectives fit you. Memories are overflowing of your days, walking the doll buggy and telling Billy Kleiman how to push it. On to your school years, and I want Jay Kleiman. What did I say, Billy Kleiman? Jay Kleiman. And on to your school years, and I want everyone to know, Becca always told us how she was going to flunk out. And the funniest was she made 100s on every test. The trip to Israel where we met love of my life, Cam Gerard. Now it's high school, and Becca is winning awards and honors. The biggest honor is her senior year, cheerleader for her senior year. In the meantime, Roy is kvelling because he wants a child to go to his alma mater, Tulane. The other 3 children have chosen the schools of their choices, and it wasn't Tulane. And Becca has applied for early admittance. And do you remember the letter arriving for early admittance, and Daddy was so excited he opened it, and you were furious? But how excited and wonderful were those 4 years. Dad got to relive his college days with you, and then came graduation. Becca, your dad and I will always remember when we opened the program, magna cum laude. Then came the icing on the cake. Becca won the award for the most outstanding student in Tulane University. I thought my heart would jump out of my skin with excitement. Now we're in Monroe, Louisiana at Bruce and Cindy Beardmom's wedding, packed to take Becca to Washington. Eric, I can hear you calling her name as we made the normal 2.5 days trip in a day and a half. Well, 3 months later, I got a call from Becca after the Pete Marwick Christmas party. I've met the most wonderful young man named Eric Goldberg. Tomorrow night starts a new set of memories, the ones that are the best of all, Mr. and Mrs. Eric Goldberg. I love you both with all my heart. Eric, you have proven yourself over and over what a wonderful son you are to me. I love you very much. Roy, I hope I've said it the way you talked about it. I want to close with this poem. The one that is very special to us, that was sent to us by a wonderful member of our family, our son, Ron, who happens to be a great writer. They say that hope is happiness, but genuine love must prize the past. And memory wakes the thoughts that bless. They rose the first, they set the last. And all that memory loves the most was once our only hope to be. And all that hope adored and lost has faded into memory. May you have the most wonderful, wonderful life together. I love you both very much, from your father and I.
Becca and Eric? Your turn.
Becca, cry. I've never seen anybody cry so much in my life. We'd like to thank all of you for coming. A lot of you came a great distance for the sole purpose of humiliating us. And we appreciate it, particularly Becca. I think I speak for both of us when I say that this is a very special weekend for us, and we appreciate you coming. My mom and Frida got up and hinted at the fact that for a very long time I had absolutely no intention of ever marrying Becca. You gave the impression that Frida was wonderful, I was the bad guy, Frida sat on the sidelines totally innocent. Well, that's not the way it was. Frida tried just about everything to get me to marry Becca. First, she tried to buy me. Becca and I had just bought a house we were moving into. Becca, where are you? Cry. And Frida took us shopping. She was buying us some knickknacks, and I said, Frida, thank you so much. She said to me, Eric Goldberg, this is nothing. Someday I'm going to throw you a wedding. And I said, that is so sweet. I said, I can see myself 10 years from now saying, honey, you remember Becca, that girl I used to date? Her mother's going to throw us a wedding. And then she tried threats. Evidently, you'd had this problem before with Lenny. Didn't quite get Lenny to propose to Hope. And he told me a story about putting a BB gun out by the front door for Lenny. And then she said to me in the same breath, she said, Eric Goldberg, don't you make me buy a BB gun. In light of the fact that you never bought that gun and my tuchus is still intact, I have a special gift for you. And it might take me a minute to unwrap it.
Oh,
Just
my
bear with me.
God, BB gun for 50.
No, it's not. I wouldn't buy a BB gun. I have something even more special. This is a white wedding gun. It's a shotgun wedding. And Ron, watch out. Unfortunately, though, it is corked, so it's harmless.
I still got 2 kids to use it.
Next, we have some special gifts. We have a lot of thank yous to make, a lot of important people. First, I'd like to thank my groomsmen who are going to be in the wedding, and I'd like you each to stand up. I've gotten you. Please, just stand where you are.
All the groomsmen stand
You know,
up.
groomsmen, what's the matter with you? Jesus. Yeah. This is a gift that I've gotten for you, which is, yeah, why don't you guys get in the front, away from everybody else.
You think this gun is wrong?
Becca's going to help you. This is a very special gift, but it's special for 2 reasons. First, the actual gift itself, and secondly, I've individually autographed each and every one. First, Scott, you're my best man, and you're my master of ceremonies, and I'd like to thank you with a football. It says SIZ from your buddy, Eric Goldberg. Eric I. Goldberg, that's me. And SOD, Scott, it's yours. Steve Rung.
Ron Vogel-Bernstein, and Lenny. Thank you guys a lot. And if Becca can stop crying, we've got some more important thank yous that we'd like to give out. What are you looking for?
We're hiding over here, Becca. We need all bring out all the packets.
Oh, that's First, we want to thank somebody who's really, really helped out a lot during this wedding. The last 9 months, she's really done so much for us, Julie.
Julie, when we sort this all out, we'll find
Here's your card. This is what I told you earlier. I said your card's coming later. Thank you for everything. I really appreciate it. That's a whole day. Okay. We also we had a special thanks to Hope and Lenny and Bibsy and Ron and Lynn for everything. Thank you for my surprise shower in DC. I really was surprised. And Hope and Bibs, thank you so much for last night. I really enjoyed it. I love pink. And I really had a great time. Y'all really had done yourself. This gift was adorable. I appreciate it. And Ron, thank you. You know, Lenny, thank you for last night. Eric had a great time.
We had a great time.
Ron.
Well, you want to come up and get that?
And hugs. This is for both of y'all. And I know your present from last night. Mimi and Granddaddy, I love you both very much, and I hope Eric and I will be as happy as you have been. I'm horrible at this, I'm going to start crying. But thank you for everything. I really appreciate it.
Grandma and Grandpa, thank you also. You've meant a lot to me throughout my life. And we Grandma, I never realized you had such a sense of humor. I said I never realized you had such a sense of humor, as well as a sense of hearing. I know. I know y'all are tired, and this is really close to an end.
Also, there's a special person here that came from New Jersey, and she's a special part of our family.
Annie, you want to come up? We'd like to thank our parents. Mom, Dad, thank you for everything you've done tonight, as well as throughout my life. In the last year, you've shared your business with me, and I thank you for that very much. Every day, I wake up and I'm happy, and I owe it all to you. I love you very, very much.
I'm not really good with talking, or really even with writing, but I think my mom knows how much I love her and how much I thank her for everything she's done. Thanks.
Thank you all for coming. If anybody else has anything to say, you're more than welcome. I think that's about it.